welcome to ERi-TV English News Broadcast. It's now exactly 10:30 p.m. Asmara time, and we are ready for domestic and international news for November 14th, 2025. Reporting live from our headquarters in Asmara and inviting you to stay with us is Heaven Johannes, your news anchor for this session. To begin with, I present you the major headlines. Training on police profession to new police members. Call for coordinated effort for sports development in the Ansawa region. In our international, over 25 million people face acute hunger in Democratic Republic of Congo. And US sanctioned 32 figures and entities for alleged links to Iran missile and drone activities. In our domestic report, the Eritrean police has provided training to 761 members of the 37th round of the national service, including 154 females on basic police profession. The training was conducted in Adhalo. The graduation ceremony was held in the presence of President Isaias Afwerki on November 13th. Major Andom Mahari, head of police profession training at the Police and Security Forces Training Center, reported that the training covered familiarization with the objectives and mission of the police profession, police station activities, law and crime investigation, public relations and civic education, reporting, internet and cybersecurity, as well as topics related to police activities. Noting that the trainees have successfully completed their theoretical training and are now moving to practical work, Colonel Maharit Agai, commander of the Eritrean Police Force, called on them to practically apply the knowledge they gained in maintaining peace and security in the society. At the event, outstanding trainees were recognized. The program also featured artistic performances by the Eritrean Police Music Band. In another news, the Education Office in Shambuk Osab Zone provided capacity upgrading training to 41 newly assigned teachers, including 26 female teachers. The objective of the training was to support the improvement of the teaching and learning process. According to Mr. Maharita Shoma, head of the Education Office in the subzone, the training covered pedagogy, student treatment and guidance, annual lesson planning, and other topics related to teaching. In another news, Ambassador Abdullah Musa, governor of the Ansawa region, called for coordinated efforts to develop and sustain sports activities in the region. Ambassador Abdullah made the call at an activity assessment meeting conducted on November 2nd in Karen to review the activities of the regional sports federations. Noting that the development and continuity of sports activities depend on budget allocation, Ambassador Abdullah called on all subzones in the region to strengthen their contribution. Mr. Siraj Haj, Director General of Culture and Sports in the region, also called for reinforced roles and contributions from the public and stakeholders to advance sports development in Ansawa region. At the meeting, participants conducted extensive discussions on the reports presented and adopted various recommendations, including giving due attention to sports activities in schools, encouraging female participation, conducting sustainable training programs, and strengthening sports teams established in the subzones. Do stay tuned, dear viewers, for we shall be back with the international news after the short break. Welcome back. More than 1/5 of the Democratic Republic of the Congo's population, nearly 25 million people, are experiencing severe acute food insecurity, UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said on Wednesday. Escalating violence in the east and large-scale displacement are driving the crisis. Fighting between M23 rebels and government forces has intensified since January. The rebels have captured key towns and supply routes near Goma, the capital of North Kivu province, and Bukavu, the capital of South Kivu, reportedly leaving thousands dead. M23 is one of more than 100 armed groups active in eastern DRC, according to Human Rights Watch. The UN spokesperson noted that communities in North Kivu are among the worst affected. More than 1,000 civilians have been killed since the start of the year, and at least 400,000 people have been displaced in Beni and Lubero territories alone. Assaults by armed groups are disrupting agricultural activities and blocking trade routes, further destabilizing local markets and deepening food shortages. The spokesperson also warned that the conflict has severely damaged the health system. 6 medical facilities have been attacked since January 2025 and at least 28 have been hit since early 2024. More than half are now non-functional, leaving over 150,000 people without essential care. He further highlighted that insecurity and explosive remnants of war are hindering humanitarian operations, with aid agencies warning that they cannot reach those most in need unless access improves. According to the latest Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC) analysis, the number of people facing acute food insecurity is projected to rise to 27 million in the first half of 2026, with several areas approaching IPC Phase 4, characterized by severe food shortages and high acute malnutrition. Moving on to the United States, the country has imposed sanctions on 32 entities and individuals in different countries for allegedly supporting Iran's peaceful missile and drone programs. In a press statement released on Wednesday, the U.S. State Department said those designated are based in Iran, China, Hong Kong, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, India and other jurisdictions, claiming that they operate multiple procurement networks supporting Iran's ballistic missile and unmanned aerial vehicle production. The new sanctions are in furtherance of U.S. President Donald Trump's second national security presidential memorandum, enacting the so-called maximum pressure campaign against Iran. It further claimed that the restrictive measures back a recent move by the European countries to restore UN Security Council sanctions against Iran previously lifted under the U.S.-abandoned 2015 nuclear deal. It also reiterated the U.S.'s policy to use all available means to disrupt and counter Iran's missile and drone programs. Meanwhile, the U.S. Treasury Department alleged that those blacklisted pose a threat to the U.S. and allied personnel in the Middle East and to commercial shipping in the Red Sea. The U.S. move comes as Iranian officials say the country has grown immune to illegal U.S. sanctions and increased oil sales to fund its infrastructure projects. Iran has also developed its homegrown defense and military capabilities to thwart malicious plots by its enemies. Last week, Tanker Trackers, a leading energy analytics firm, reported that Iran's oil exports reached a record 2.3 million barrels per day in October, the highest level in 7 years for the sanctions-hit country. This wraps up our domestic and international news for this session. Dear viewers, before we finalize, I present you the major headlines once more. Training on police profession to new police members. Call for coordinated efforts for sports development in the Ansaba region. Over 25 million people face acute hunger in DRC. And U.S. sanctions 32 figures and entities for alleged links to Iran missile and drone activities. This was The World on Friday with ERi-TV English News Broadcast. Dear viewers, from all of us here, thank you for joining and have a good night.